Sippers, welcome to this episode of the Tea With Me podcast with me, as always, your wee mate, Shane Todd. It's a guest episode before I bring my guest on, and I'm very excited about this. We have a new sponsor. We are sponsored by BetterHelp. We're living in crazy times. People say it's always crazy times, but these are the craziest of times. And you, especially now more than ever, you got to keep on top of this. The bounce, the loaf, you know what I'm talking about. Especially doing stand-up, I'm gigging a lot. It can be mad hours. We're doing these big shows. And I know for me, being backstage, talking to other comedians, talking about, I'm trying to do all this stuff and maybe feeling a bit under pressure about it and that kind of thing. Talking through it is the best thing. I speak to Dave Elliott on the phone for, on average, 9 hours a day. And that helps me keep things sorted out. BetterHelp is a form of therapy, but it's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional therapy done securely online, and it's available worldwide. And how often are we left out of stuff? We go, not available in Northern Ireland. Always the way. On the best things. Here's this amazing deal. Not in Northern Ireland or the Shetland Islands. And we're always gutted by that. But BetterHelp, you can do it anywhere. You can do it online. Maybe you're a little bit awkward. I think we're all awkward as a people about going in and maybe doing some sort of therapy or speaking to someone. But you do this online. You can do this in what Kieran Bartlett would refer to as his monks. Do it in your monks. Do it in your flounces. You can basically, what you do is you log onto your account anytime. You send a message to your therapist, and then you can schedule a weekly video or phone session. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. You can be wearing whatever you want to wear, or maybe you just feel awkward about it. You can turn your camera off. With therapy, it can take a few clicks, a few tries to find the right fit for you. But BetterHelp makes it easy, and it's free to change therapists if you need to do that. It's more affordable than traditional therapy, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp is a great way to invest in yourself. You can visit their website and read testimonials. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp, they're recruiting additional therapists left, right and centre. LR&C as I call it. They have a special offer for listeners to this podcast. You can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/teawithme. betterhelp.com/teawithme. The link will be in the description. 10% of your first online therapy month at betterhelp.com. Thank you very much to them for being a sponsor. We also need to give a quick shout out to Patreon. Patreon.com/teawithmepodcast, where all the sippers live and congregate in some sort of mad community. Patreon.com, you get a bonus episode on a Monday. You get a live stream episode on a Friday. You get special wee links to things. You get a heads up, early doors. Sometimes Dan or the fridge will put nudes up. It's all good. The link is in the description. And of course, we're sponsored by Manscaped. It's coming into the summer months. You need to keep things ship-shape down there. What you don't want is a big Kate Bush. You don't want to be, if you're running up that hill, you want to do it with a smooth sack. Am I right? Get yourself sorted down there. Go to manscaped.com. We have the code TEAWITHME for 20% off and free shipping. The best men's grooming products. I was speaking to my close personal friend recently, my celebrity friend, Eddie Murphy. And I said, Eddie, what are you doing? You getting back into stand-up? Like, what's happening, big shooter? And he said, before I do it, he said, I want to get back into stand-up. And he was going to do one of my opera shows. But he said, I'm just worried about the sheer amount of volume that my pubes have. I said, Eddie, that's a lot of personal information. Would you mind if I talked about that in the podcast? He said, whack away. I said, you need to whack away at your groin. I'm sending Eddie Murphy over Manscaped Performance Package. He's going to give that a go, and you'll see him back doing stand-up in no time. They've got the Perfect Performance Package, the Lawnmower 4.0. They do boxers, which I was wearing last night to do stand-up. I'm not wearing them now. It's a good time. Manscaped.com, tea with me for 20% off and free shipping. Let's get into this episode with my guest, cage fighter extraordinaire and Ballymena native, Rhys McKee. Now, I felt a bit of pressure making you this cup of tea because most people go, yeah, just take a bit of milk. But you said the phrase more stronger than weaker.
Yeah, more
And
stronger
that
than
messed with my head because I was like, I don't even know what level of colour you'd want in that sort of thing. So do you want to just
yeah, it's a bit of
give me a bit of feedback? And let
bit
me
of a
think.
philosophy, that one, stronger than weaker. But it looks good, like.
I was just pondering my life when I was making you that.
Yeah, it's
Now, be honest, okay? I don't
you know
want.
what? It's definitely sweet enough, which is my major test. Because
Right.
like, although I'm a guy that shouldn't take sugar,
Yeah.
I always have sugar. That's a pretty strong cup of tea.
You happy enough with that? Out of 10?
For me, so I'm saying for me because Rebecca, my fiance, has a different opinion. Probably hers like this is too weak.
Right.
For me, this is like a 10.
I make better tea than Rebecca.
Oh, don't we? Like, what are you doing?
Shots fired.
You're trying to drown me here. That's a good cup of tea.
Are you a big tea guy?
You know what? Not really. Or I used to not be. I used to always be coffee, and coffee is purposeful. Tea for me was a social drink. Where now, like, I'd make a cup of tea in the morning opposed to coffee. So
Yep.
I'm a tea guy now.
Good.
Yeah.
You're over to the right side. Rhys, I've known about you for years and years because obviously, being involved in cage fighting and that kind of thing, and it exploded to like, the fair weather kind of fans like me or people who don't know a lot about it but see a bit. It felt like about 8 years ago or so, it really, really came into the consciousness here. And you were obviously one of the people leading that, even though you'd have been really young then, and you still are really young now. But I want to go back. I want to talk about different things. But you just headlined Cage Warriors in SSE.
Yeah.
If I get any of this wrong, by the way, tell me, because I'll be talking about weight class and styles of fights. And
I'll tell you you're wrong. Don't worry.
Correct me. But was that like one of the biggest moments so far in your career to headline that?
Yeah, you know what? Like, it's nice talking when it's all said and done because you can kind of like reflect more on how it felt before. Like I knew it was huge. Like it was so big, and for any kid or anybody from Northern Ireland, that's our arena. That's the pinnacle arena.
Yeah.
In this country. So like when I knew I had the chance to one be on it, two to headline it, three for world title, like it was just all a big perfect storm.
And you won, which is way better than doing all that and not winning.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like sometimes the hardest thing about being a fighter is like people just expect you to win. Like when Rhys is on the card, Rhys is going to win in Belfast. It's like I have a guy who's training for me to like make sure I don't win on that night.
Yeah.
So like to win was the main part, and someone said a really good one to me the week before. It was like don't play the occasion, play the game, which I thought was like unbelievable. Like because it's a big night, but if you fall to the occasion, sure, just turn up and then go home again.
Yeah, or you could try and like impress a crowd a bit more, and
like
I would do that. So I would get knocked out easy because I'd be like, that like winking at the crowd and doing all that kind of thing.
You know what? It's hard not to too when there's so many people. But like, play the game, not the occasion was important.
Is that like the most you felt the crowd's been behind you?
Oh, for sure. Like, and
do you fight away mostly?
Yeah, well, a lot of them's in England. I had obviously a few away abroad. So like 50 people at a race fight is pretty big.
Okay.
Like, because it's in London. Like, or London, like, do you mean it's hard to get people across? Yeah. So like when that was in Belfast, like that thing was mint. I think we'd done over 250 tickets. Like
just your people.
That was my tickets. Which is a lot of people. So I didn't realize how mad it was until I was standing behind the curtain. Yeah. And I remember looking at one of my coaches and being like this is insane here.
Do you let that like affect you? If that makes sense.
Yeah,
could that affect you in a bad way as well?
No, I don't. I think it's impossible. Like, and probably similar to yourself in your own career path. It's like, I like the attention anyway. I mean, of course.
I don't mind attention.
Do you know what I mean? We're in the position we're in and doing what we're doing because we like some form of spotlight. So like, if I can have more eyes and more pressure, and more of a platform, then I thrive in it.
Yeah.
I think what I would struggle with is, fighting in like little sports hall with 20 people and everybody goes to a drink or everybody goes to the bar to get a drink while you're fighting. For me, it's like, flip, nobody really cares.
Was that like some of your first fights like that?
Yeah. Like you see people going for a drink when you're about to fight, and it's like, this for them, this isn't that big a deal. For me, it's absolutely everything.
What was like some of your first fights? Like, what was the lowest attendance and that kind of thing? Because I've done like gigs like and still will do the gig
I think maybe not the lowest attendance. In fact, probably definitely not the lowest attendance, but lowest grade. I think we'll talk low grade.
Right.
And no offense to this organisation or anything, but I fought in like the British Legion before, and like the boxing ring broke halfway through, and like It's just, you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
not ideal.
I know what you mean about that feeling of, and it's exactly the same in stand up.
Yeah.
When you come on and people go, "That's my cue to go get a
That's
drink," because they don't know you, like
Yeah.
that feel. Oh, there is nothing worse.
Hurts, like, it hurts.
It like the best thing in stand up is that if either you're the first on or you're
Mm-hmm.
first on after the break. But if you're second or third on, there definitely is that thing where when you go on and people are walking past you
Yeah.
to leave, that's so
Yeah,
demoralising.
you feel like a filler, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
means maybe it's worse for stand up that bit, but when they come back,
Yeah.
you're halfway through a story that they haven't heard the start of.
Yeah.
So you mentioned something at the end that
Yeah.
involved the start of your story, and they just have no idea.
Yeah, and they're gonna sit and say this guy's this
Yeah.
and that. Yeah.
What did you do after the fight in the SSC?
Flip. So like such a different version of the story for every fight, but obviously my feet. I look like Frankenstein sitting here with the stitches, but
No man, it looks good.
well,
I didn't even notice it.
I know it's not that noticeable. So
Like Harry Potter.
I've never been told I look like Harry Potter, but thank you. No, so after the fight, we went straight to an ambulance and straight to the Royal. Literally, like
For an afters?
Did you not hear that was where the party was? No, I wondered why you weren't there. No after party flip. It was straight to the Royal to try and get stitched up, but
Because the fight was, for anyone who didn't see it, was like an all-out war.
yeah, I
Like,
think-
and that's crazy that when I saw your face in pictures on Twitter after, like, you were the winner.
yeah,
you know,
I
so-
and like you have like this real like thing where you tell, or like people are like, so we went to the Royal and people were like, oh, what happened? You're like, oh, I was in a fight, and they're like, oh, and I was like, no, that was organised, and they're like, oh, and then it's
It
like.
sounds even worse.
And then I was like, and I won, and they're like, oh. Do you know what I mean? It's like this whole story of like a dip and a dive. So
yeah.
went till the fight was over, say 11:10. Didn't leave the arena till about 20 to 12, and then sat outside the Royal for about an hour,
Serious?
and then we had 16 hours in the Royal. 16 hours waiting for.
Because in my head, I think even though you're bloodied up and you've just been in like an explosive war, and like probably give you a quick once over, stitch up, and then you go to a bar or a
yeah,
nightclub.
that's what we all think, isn't like
16
yeah, 'cause
hours.
people
in A&E?
people are ringing me, and this shows how naive I also was. But people are ringing me in the ambulance. And I was like, yeah, like I'm literally here. I'll get like 4 or 5 stitches, and then I'll
Right.
meet you wherever you are at. Just go wherever.
Yeah.
And like then the people from the hospital, cause the ambulance man, but came out and said like you'll be here till like 8 in the morning at least. And I was like surely he's joking. Like surely
Yeah.
this is a joke. No, it wasn't. Like, but and like I put my story earlier the week. The NHS is so far stretched. Like.
Yeah.
You know, like I had no issue sitting there. Do you know what I mean? And I had no real problems.
That's where we're different.
It's-
The entitlement. If I just headlined in SSE and I'd won my fight, I would bring that belt in, and honestly, I'd be taking people out with it. I'd be swinging it
I
about.
think, you know what? I think more people wanted to fight me in there.
Really?
Than my opponent wanted to fight me. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? People are mad in there.
Yeah.
Like you hear some things in that hospital.
Oh, I went in once to A&E, my appendix, and it was like really bad. I was lying in bed. The guy's like, mate, just relax. We're gonna come round to you in about an hour. And the guy beside me was handcuffed to the bed.
Wow.
And he had 2 peelers with him, and he was shouting everything imaginable, all this stuff, shouting his life story across the place. And I'm like a feet away, surrounded by a curtain. At one point, they just opened the curtain, and I'm lying there, and all I heard was, "What are you doing, you mad bastard?" I was like, "Oh Jesus Christ!"
No.
I talked to this guy for like 2 hours. But did you get like? Here's what I'm always interested in after people have like a big fight, especially when you've been training so much and if you've been cutting weight and that sort of thing. Did you get like grub?
So this was like this had to happen. So like, before a fight, like I don't eat till like I don't eat after like a certain time. So it was like 4 hours before the fight, I'll not eat.
Intermittent fasting.
Yeah, exactly like it. So I don't eat like 4 hours. I went hungry rather than full and bloated. So after the fight, you're ready to eat. So then when we went there, Justin was also there, who my opponent is. So we ordered a Domino's. Not the nicest place to eat it, and like
You and him?
yeah, we shared a Domino's.
That's a classy move. Did you say to him, "We're getting pizza here. What do you want?" You took his
So,
order.
Yeah, we took it. Yeah, we took control of that situation.
That's a bit of class.
Yeah, I mean that is like it is a touch of class, like
Yeah.
it is, and
Do you fuck a bit in his face after? Like, I beat you.
here you know he's a bigger eater than me. There was no pizza left. It was getting it. There was none to throw. So like now we get that, but where we were sitting originally, like just wasn't the place to eat pizza. Like, so we had to go look for.
Were you in the big green room? The big like
Fuck, it's all emerged now. It's all
big
merged.
backstage bit with like sofas and
Is this in the
SSE?
Yeah, I think it was just the standard locker rooms. Like, it wasn't. There was
Oh,
no
the Giants locker room.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah, we were in there, not your fancy lounge by the sounds of it.
So yeah, I just didn't know if you were in Shane Todd lounge or not.
Is this like one of them cases like where you know I wasn't in that room, but you were like, I'm going to tell everybody what my room's like?
It was awkward when I kicked Kevin Hart out of it. He had to go and sit in Pizza Hut. I was like, Kev, where you go?
Your time to bounce.
Yeah. No, are you saying you shared the pizza there or in hospital?
No, it was in hospital. So hygienic.
That's unreal that like you have a fight with that guy and then hours later
it's bizarre. Like, you know,
you're sharing a pepperoni passion in A&E.
Yeah, it's daft. You know, it's like like it was daft. And even like sharing the ambulance and stuff, like, was mad. Like, some of the conversations we had, like, you know, after the first 10 minutes, conversation's going to go different, as you know.
Yeah.
Turns out we were showing pictures of each other's dogs and stuff. It was like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
had like you done any trash talk before that?
Zero.
You don't strike me as a guy who would do. I think you're a classy
like,
operator.
I would if it's real. Like, I can do stuff if it's real. If I have an issue with someone, I can say the issue. It's hard when it's something like Justin, same age, same kind of background, same records, and so wants the same stuff. How can you dislike him?
Right.
Unless he dislikes me. Then or, you know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard to fake that.
So what do you do after 6? And what did they need to do? How many stitches you get?
19. Yeah, 19 stitches. So went for a CT scan, which I didn't think I needed. Turns out my nose is broke, so that's why I have the black eyes.
Right.
And then got transferred to the Ulster to get the stitches and got 19 of them. And she's done a great job. Like, she's done a good job.
Yeah.
Apparently the Royal stitch a bit rougher, so I'm kind of happy with how it went.
Right.
That's a mad sentence, but apparently they do. Not throwing shade on the Royal now, but
like, you looked at that and went, "That's a good job."
Yeah, happy with that. Like, you know, but let's see. I get them out on Monday, so.
Did you, when you won the fight and you got the belt? Is that like the best moment?
Like, I think, like, not to take away from the belt's cool and stuff, but like the UFC's the goal, so like winning the fight was the important part. The belt like looks cool. It is cool, and it's a nice attachment to me. Like, you know, to have the belt is prestigious, and when you look at the people that have won it before, like, the list is fantastic.
Anyone I'd know?
Don't know if you know them.
I'll pretend I do.
Like, do you mean when you're looking at Dan Hardy's and stuff, like, you know, Bisping's and.
Oh yeah, I know him.
You know McGregor.
Bisping?
I'm sure you've heard of McGregor.
Oh yeah, I've heard of him.
He's a local guy.
Yeah.
Like, do you mean them names? Like, so it's good to have that attachment with it. But winning the fight was the big deal. That was the. Right. Let's go for it. What do you think of this case? Here, you open it. You can be the man.
If they didn't give me a case like this, I would have commissioned my own case like this to be made.
You know what? It freaked me out about that case. Like, it's very professional.
So did they give you this on the night?
Yeah. So fun story. We were leaving the fight. I had the belt like draped on my shoulder, and like he took it off me, and I was like, oh, yeah, of course. I'm not Paul Hughes. You're allowed to look at it. Bless Paul Hughes. So like they tried to take it off me, and I was like, where the fuck are you going with the belt? Like I'm taking this home, and they were like, no, Rhys, calm down. Like, we're only getting you your bag, and like there's that sense of like embarrassment, you know, when you've went way over the top. I was like, oh, okay,
right,
okay,
yeah,
and then to come back and put it in this suitcase. I feel like a hitman now. Like,
you that's what I was gonna say. You look like a fancy hitman with it.
You come in, set it out on the table, pull out your pistol, and right, who needs it done?
Does this suit me?
Definitely, it suits you better than me. Like, genuinely.
What if you saw me with a belt? Like, what weight class would you think I'd won in? Like, Jink?
I'd put you as like
middleweight.
I'm gonna take a bit off you here.
Huh?
Maybe a featherweight.
Featherweight?
Yes.
I wouldn't even take the belt if I'd won that.
What weight are you?
I'm about 11 stone 2, something like that.
About 67, 68 kilo.
Yeah.
I'm perfect for that weight.
I'm 74 kilograms.
74. You make the cut to feather, no problem.
Yeah, I don't want to be feather. Heavyweight.
Heavyweight.
That's a nice belt. Here's the difference. You're humble with this. I wouldn't take this off. Like, I'd wear this around my waist. Like,
well, I need to wait till at least the scars heal. So if I have to defend it, I'm in a position where I can defend it.
Yeah.
But at the minute, like,
That's so nice.
You could beat me for that belt at the minute, no problem.
You think so?
Well, you may if you find a big enough stick.
Have you heard about me?
I've heard. I've heard. Yeah, it's
Unreal.
cool. It is cool, and the case is cool too.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So when you get it, when you are done at hospital, because I love all that, like the behind the scenes stuff, the like the expectation versus reality and all
Yeah.
that, and like what someone watching it thinks compared to, because we've had Liam McCourt in the podcast a load of times, and she had a fight at the O2 in London, a big fight, and won. And I was like, what was that like after and all? And she was saying all these celebrities were backstage. She said they had to like, her and her team had to like walk to McDonald's like a mile away. And
Yeah, so
you
like
know,
stories like
like
that.
in my
so
head,
true.
I'm like,
But you know what? It's that whole thing of like, I came in here this morning. I talked about Ryan McMullen, and you said he's just a sound guy. There's people that meet all these people that meet you, people that meet me, and think like we just live this totally different life.
yeah,
Like it's not like Leah. Yeah, she had to walk to McDonald's. Like it's
yeah,
it's just no different. It's
yeah.
we still had like Justin ordered donuts after we got the pizza, and someone stroked them at the front door. Like
Of the hospital?
yeah, yeah. Like that happened. That's real life. Like no no chauffeur come up and deliver these handcrafted
yeah.
donuts from Belfast.
Yeah.
Like no, someone seen them and said, "Here, they're mine." Justin, welcome to Belfast. Welcome to Belfast. No refund ever.
I love that.
So like yeah, like it's as real as it is.
Do you, because so correct me if I'm wrong, you went Cage Warriors,
Yeah.
UFC, back to Cage Warriors,
Yeah.
and now you want to go back to UFC.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that. In fact, let's go back a bit further. What age and what were you doing when you decided like you want to start fighting?
So like I was getting it when I was about 16. Literally just for pre-season of football, bit of a hobby, bit of just kind of just to do something. My brother was doing it too, and then I get in it, got my ass kicked a few times, done a few
You
competitions.
fighting at school or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. Like I was the opposite of that. Like still am very much the opposite of that as I sit here with scars.
Yeah, yeah.
But like very much away from that life, which I think kind of engulfed me in it.
Right.
And then I think once I learned how much I didn't know, opposed to how much I thought I knew,
Right.
was so humbling. I was like, I know nothing. Like I'm so not powerful.
So that fueled your desire to do it.
Yeah, yeah,
See,
yeah.
I think we're dissimilar there in that if I start doing like a hobby or a sport or something, if I'm not good at it straight away, I find that really tough.
Yeah, and like I mean, I think that is well, I did find it insanely tough to the point where like your body's like doing people are using your body against you, I suppose, and choking you and breaking your arm or trying to break your arm. And I think that got me. And then once you start picking stuff up, it's like, hold on, I can now stop that happening.
Right.
And it just snowballs. And then before you know it, Rodney comes up and he says, "Oh, do you want to fight next weekend?" Rodney's my coach. And then before you know it, you've had 5 fights, 10 fights.
What was your first?
I fought in the Everglades.
The hotel in Derry?
Yeah, yeah, I fought there, and
Car park?
just fair digs. Fought there one night. Must have been about 16 or 17.
That's your first fight?
First fight, and I remember going down. Like I wasn't nervous. Wasn't all day not nervous. The minute we made the walk, I was just like this. Oh no, like this.
Well, it's such a...
Panic button's just where is it? Like I'm looking for it. Like just so different. And then get in the cage, and I remember this guy. I fought a guy called Daniel Thompson, and he walked in the cage, and I genuinely didn't know that we would mean mug, like, stare at each other. He get in and he stared a hole through me, and I just could not look at him. I like looked everywhere but at him, but he looked like insane.
Yeah, yeah.
We're two 17-year-olds, really. But like in my head, I was like, how did I go this? Rodney shouted at me, "Rhys, they give you a last few instructions, just basically calm down or do this or do that." I didn't see, so his mouth was moving, but I couldn't hear any words.
Wow.
And I was like, this is fucking mental, this situation.
Yeah.
Long story short, got choked out 90 seconds later.
Serious?
Yeah, but just fell in love with it so much.
I mean, even that you'd want to go back to it.
I'm still surprised that I did, because I remember how uncomfortable I felt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I really felt uncomfortable, but I knew.
Do you remember what your first walkout song was?
It was Enter Sandman.
By Metallica?
Yeah, because I put it on sometimes, just been like, someday I might use it again, but it's just so I think I still get shivers up my spine when I feel it.
Remind you of those early fights?
Oh yeah, but you know what? Just so need them nights. You need them nights so much.
Well, it's the same with stand up. I remember gigging at the start, and if it was like a big one or something different, I remember talking into the microphone, doing my jokes, but almost feeling like I was watching myself.
Yeah.
I had another voice that was like, I had like my performance voice kind of, and then the real voice in my head was like, I was thinking thoughts,
Yeah.
but I was saying, it was like an autopilot.
It's so like. Do you get nervous?
Yeah, sometimes, and there can be no rhyme or reason
And
for
what
it.
does your nerves look like? Like what? Like Jimmy, what's your
Butterflies.
Yeah.
Butterflies. And it's not, I think I've learned to make the nerves good now.
Yeah.
And I like to have them, and I actually will get a bit worried if
You didn't have
I'm
them.
totally flat. But for me, it's just I'm just a wee bit like giddy.
Yeah.
It at the start it crippled me like my hands for the first maybe 2-3 years of doing stand up. My hands shook.
Yeah.
The whole gig, and I got good at like I'd move quite a lot so people wouldn't notice it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my hands would go. Sometimes my voice would go. I get a dry mouth, and I can't remember getting over that. But I must have just eventually.
So
done
funny, like how people like ride nerves in different ways. Like I'm the over talker. Like I'll like talk about anything and everything. Where some people are like with headphones on, walk up and down the hallway and do that for 4 hours. That's
I'm somewhere in between. Like what comedians tend to do is, if they're nervous, they like go over all the material and is this funny and should I do this? I don't like hearing that.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about my set. So when your mate's like, well, I might do this and that, I just can't take it in.
Yeah.
So I don't like to be there early in the venue, like hours before. I like to be there about an hour before the show.
Do you have like, so say like, obviously you gig in the mighty Ballymena, like do you have like
the Braid? Shout out to the Braid.
Shout out to the Braid. Like do you have like who is in charge of when you turn up? If that makes sense.
Probably at this point me.
Class. Okay.
I'd be trusted to like, at the start you get told, be there for this time and that sort of thing. I think they know now. As long as I know what time doors open, what time the show's at, I'll just make my.
And what is your so say doors open 6:30.
Yeah.
When are
if doors
you
open? If doors open at on this tour, it's door 7, show 8. I'll be there at 7, roughly.
Class.
I don't like to hang about. I feel like if I get there too early, I think about things more.
Cool.
I think about the gig. I get bored. I might get tired. I like to get there.
Do you drive and stuff up like? Or
Yeah. And I like doing that, like all that sort of stuff.
I bet you that's your like, kind of like your Oh, not distraction, but like.
I'll drive up and sing nearly the whole way. I'll just put some Spotify playlist on. Yeah, or like no, it's mainly divas at the minute. I'm doing a big divas playlist. Or I'll go up with comedians and we'll just like talk shit the whole way up. Do you like what's your backstage like environment like? If you're getting to pick what it's like backstage?
I don't like. I've got like a few fights before, and like I got a fight in London, Wembley. Maybe we were fighting, and like they gave me like my own changing room. I hated it. Like it was like didn't like it at all. Like just felt
you
like
feel too shut off to the environment.
Where like that one in Belfast was like I was in with every fighter in the red corner, and like for me that was good because it's like all the people I've known over the last 12 years were all in and around there.
I'd like that.
It's way better. And like I think, not like to say they expected me to be more, but like I go around and talk to everybody in the changing room. Like we're gonna have a chat. Like and I think someone done a post this week about being a fighter's fighter. Like all the fighters wanted to watch my fight, and I think it's because I'm real with them. I talk to them, and I don't think I'm better than anyone on them cards.
Yeah, and I don't know why. There are so many people who wouldn't, but I don't know why you wouldn't. It's like stand up. It's like backstage. Like to not speak to people or be a bit cold to people. Like we all do. Like you're the headliner, but you're all fighters.
Of course, and without them people on the undercard, there is no show. So
and you were that guy on the, you were that guy in the undercard,
of course,
in the Everglades.
Yeah, I know.
Choked out by
in the British Legion. I like being amongst it like a lot. Yeah. Like I like to watch the fights on the TV and. No headphones, no shutting myself off.
How does it go from then those hotel type fights and being a teenager to how do you go to Cage Warriors the first time?
So I was lucky. I went when I had my last amateur fight against a guy from Dublin. So actually it was a tournament I fought twice in one night. It was really cool to get a send off and an amateur to have 2 in one night. And then I was working at the time in DW Sports, like printing football t-shirts, and Rodney rung me.
You did the printing?
Yeah, I done the printing. I done the name on the back of the top. It's a big job.
Not that's for me. It. Did you mess it up?
Oh, so many times.
If you mess it up, would you reprint or would you just chance it and be like,
because it's their t-shirt. So like if we didn't have their T-shirt in stock, there's no replacing it.
So sometimes they're bringing one
Yeah.
from home just to get it printed.
Most of the time, or like
Right.
most of the time, and then so say the United top come in and like they had that size in stock and you had to replace it. Well, it's being docked from my wages, so
Really?
we ain't replacing no T-shirts.
What was
That's gone
the
out.
big mistake? Numbers
Like,
too close together. Or
I can't
something?
remember the name, but it was someone where really it might have been like Ibrahimovic or something at the time.
Oh, that's it.
And-
You're not enjoying that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know,
Yeah.
someone coming in, you know this kid's coming in for a Zlatan top, and it's like, oh, you're looking at him, you know that moment when he's walking towards you, and like
You're getting in his head. You're like, hey, he's retiring soon. He's a bad injury.
I've been getting him. In your
What about Mata? Mata's a good player.
Oh, I love it. Yes. So like the back of a T-shirt, like the seam runs where it connects to the sleeve.
Yep.
That like the vitch was over. It was on the back of the
You call
arm.
them what?
The vitch was on the back of the arm, like
Right.
100%. But you know what? Never come back.
I got done once so bad. JJB Sports Conswater, 2002. I'd been 14. I'll never forget this ever. I'm still hanging on to this. I was going down to get a World Cup top.
Yeah.
I think it was a World Cup top. I didn't know what I was going to get. And I went in and I liked this Belgium top. It's pretty like plain red. And I think I got birthday money. So I'm like, I'm going to get it printed.
In your pinnacle here.
Yeah. There's a guy called Emile Penza.
Mhm.
Played up front for Belgium for years. Mpenza. He was number 9.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into JJB Sports, went up to fella Belgium shirt, and said, mate, can I get that printed? He goes, yes, mate, no worries. He goes in, he goes, what do you want? And pens a 9, he writes it down. Guy goes into the back, I'm just waiting, I'm 14. He comes back out, and he goes, there it is, kid, what do you think? And I was like, yeah. Looked a bit closer at it. He'd put the SPL numbers and letters on it, Scottish Premier League, on this international Belgium shirt for a World Cup. Like, not, I thought it'd be like, I didn't even expect like the World Cup number letter, just plain.
Yeah.
But it was in pens and 9,
so does
SPL, Scottish Premier League.
So what do you say?
Well, here's the thing, the shirt cost 50 quid.
Yeah.
And the printing, because it was in pens, it was by the letter.
Yeah.
So it was pretty dear too. So it came to like 67 quid or something. And he goes, what do you think of that? And I said, that's perfect. And then
Of course
I
you did.
remember walking up to the tills. He disappeared back into the wee printing room. And I stood for what felt like about an hour. And I was like, I think I'll go to Borstal for doing this.
Yeah.
But I just put it on a reel and like
Yes.
disappeared from the shop.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, I bet you there's still someone running about East Belfast with a 2002 Belgium shirt and a pens and 9 and SPL letter, because they must have sold that. They must have just stuck a £10 sticker on it and sold it.
Somebody knows more to that story.
Yeah.
Like, you know, imagine you could get the guy who printed that on the podcast. I'd love to hear his side of the
Hopefully
story.
he's in McGabry.
He has to be.
Hopefully he's bound
I
to
mean,
be.
so funny
Man
enough,
was a liar.
I actually had a Northern Ireland goalkeeper top one time, like a baby blue one.
Oh yeah, I remember.
You remember the one?
Umbro?
Like, yeah. Oh, it's class. I remember it. And so look, I don't know why. So the same story, and I haven't remembered about this since it happened until you said that. They only had Premier League things, but I done the Cardinal sin. I was like, stick the number 1 on it. Premier League. I don't mind. I know. Like
Just the one, no.
no name, no McKee. I don't know what I was doing.
That's weird.
Yeah, really weird. Really odd. Like,
I find it really uncomfortable when people get their own first name on the back of a Premier League shirt and like the number 1.
yeah.
Shane 1. It's like it ruins the shirt. I also think it's odd to get, I think there's a certain age, and I've hit it, you haven't hit it, where you can't buy the newest shirt of the team you support. It's an odd move.
So when Ronaldo signed for United, and I'm not a big United fan, but like when Ronaldo signed for United again, I was into the whole saga. Like, I loved it, and I wanted to get a Ronaldo top with number 7 on it, and I couldn't do it.
Right.
I just think like it's hard.
There's something about it. I think for me the problem is the players are usually younger than you, and it's weird to go into a shop and be like, put his name on it. I
Yeah.
love him and all.
Yeah.
And I say he's 19. You know.
Well, it's funny. Like Rebecca finds it weird that I put a thing up for the walkout T-shirts, and like it's Rhys McKee 101, like is my name on it,
Right.
and like loads of people order them, and it's like, I mean, she finds it a bit weird, but like at the same
Yeah.
time, I wear loads of my training partners' T-shirts with their names on it. I have
Yeah,
no
yeah.
issue with that.
Yeah.
But like when it's Ronaldo, like, you know, people are going to run up to you and go, "Sue."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not about that.
And you're too old. Like, it's cool if you're a
'cause
primary
then
school.
I have to do it back, and before you know it, we're doing this stuff. It's not for me. Do you know what I mean?
So how do you go? So like working in DW Sports then, does that, you say you got lucky? Like what was the break there?
Oh yes, pure tangent with football tops. So
I'm
Rod,
glad I got that off. That's been on my chest for 20 years.
I'm happy to get mine dug up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just
We
put
can
that
move
back,
on now, I
yeah.
think.
So there was an arena show, it was Ballymena at the time. It was in Free Arena. They were on the next week. I had teammates fighting on it, but you know,
Free Arena?
yeah,
Down
yeah,
Dublin?
yeah, yeah.
Played there a few weeks ago.
In case
Kev.
nobody knows, Kev. Heard of that guy, Kev? So in case or like, I was going to the show just as a spectator.
What age are you at this point?
I must be 19, 20, maybe, yeah, 19, and so Rodney rings me or texts me. He only texts, he never rings. He texts me and goes like, "How fit are you?" And I was like, "Strange, but okay." I'm like,
What time of night did he say that?
That adds a whole new dynamic to Rodney, if you know him. So he was like, "How fit are you?" While I'm standing at work, and I was like, "Reason." I kind of had a feeling that something. I knew it was a fight. I didn't know what fight.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Would you be fit for 5 minute rounds? Because that's the difference in amateur and pro. It goes from 3 minutes to 5 minutes." I was like, 100%, because I'm a kid who's just keen as mustard. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't have put me off. And then, long story short, I said yes, and he goes, "Right, my ass off and I'll come back." He came back then, and I was fighting a guy, John Redmond, who at the time had over 11 pro fights. Like, not a fantastic record. He was like 6-5. It was like pretty hit or miss. But like, for a pro debut to fight someone with over 10 fights is
An experienced fighter.
yeah, like it's almost ludicrous. And what's even madder is my last amateur fight was that guy's student. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
like, he cornered against me as the boys' coach,
Right.
and like 4 or 5 weeks later, I'm going to fight his coach. It was actually the weekend after T Vital.
That's like in school fighting another kid and his dad comes
Yeah.
to like break it up, and then the next week you scrap his dad.
I'm going to fight you now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's exactly what it's like, and I loved it. I was like, "This is class," and I felt like I'm
He has to win that. Going in, he's like, I have to win this fight.
like, and you know what? I think he did know it, but it was like 5 or 6 days before it, so his kind of hands were tied.
Right.
He
That would have
accepted.
made it easier.
Yeah. When I could have done that, so he accepts it, I accept it, and like, that was my first professional fight. Loads of hate online of people being like, "This is mental. Like, Rodney shouldn't be allowing Rhys to do this. Rhys is crazy for doing this." Then the fight went on, and I beat him.
You beat him?
Yeah, yeah.
How did you beat him?
So like, I choked him out at the end of the first, but like before, like, I beat him up for like 4.5 minutes, and it was just the most like satisfying thing, because the whole arena, just as it kept going, they were like, "Hold on, this kid's not going to get smashed. He's going to smash him," and then the whole place were loving it. It was unreal.
So would that fast tracked you?
Yeah. Then I signed for that promotion. Bama went on, won their British title, won their world title. Then they
What
folded.
can I ask at this point, like that fight, because cage fighting and MMA and stuff here is still like relatively new. Is that making any waves in Ballymena? Is that in the local paper, or
I mean,
are you walking around the Tower Centre getting a few nods?
I mean, not Liam Neeson nods, but like,
Right.
just people that.
Oh, I know there's a Neeson nod.
Yeah,
no one's getting that.
The Neeson nod. I haven't got the Neeson nod yet.
Right.
Once I get the keys to the town, I'll be
Yeah.
happy. Not really. Like, you know,
Right.
people know, they know about it if they know what the circle is. But
Yeah.
even now though, it's like MMA's not like
No,
You
still
know,
very like new
pretty
here.
new.
It's
Like,
not.
you know, no Neeson nods still. So, it was like, I was still working. Full time, and yeah. So it didn't make huge waves.
It is weird when you know, like doing that, winning a fight at the 3 Arena, or me doing like a big gig when you're younger and you're working a full-time job,
Yeah.
and then you're just in work the next day.
It's so weird. I remember the pro debut. I call all my fights by names now. It's like the fight is just his name now.
Right.
So like the John Redmond fight. I remember going home. Like, for some reason we made it to Dublin or to Ballymena by 1 o'clock again. I'm just in bed on my iPad, like watching the fights
Yeah.
back. And like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? That was cool. Like,
Yeah, that's
you
surreal.
know, I find that mad. And then Monday was back in the factory.
Yeah.
I changed job by that time.
Right.
So yeah, it's just you stand and work on a Monday and Tuesday, and it's like, this is madness.
What was the point where you started to think this is actually either a career or there's something in, like, I should be doing this?
Yeah, I won a world title. On Bama, and knew like this was it. It's either like I can do this now, do some privates and all that carry on, or just be here and it'll only ever go so big. And that was my time. And see, to be honest, like for the first 3 or 4 years, like it was crap. Like, you know, there's a stage I went back to working a bar part time because you have bills to pay. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's it, black and white. So, I mean,
Do you ever get, especially working in a bar, was this bar near home?
yeah, yeah.
Like, did you ever get any sort of aggro or any shit because
You know,
you're a professional fighter?
The hardest part of doing bar work when you have, like, let's just say a bit of a name, like, is people saying, "Oh, I didn't expect you to be here," and it's like, that's pure humble pie in the face every time. Like, there's no, like, you're never going to be like, "Yep, here I am
I
at the
didn't
bar."
expect you to be supporting yourself financially. What are you doing?
You know, I know. So, like, I think people think though it's different. Like, I think people think once you fight and get a belt that they're just throwing money at you. It's just not the case.
Yeah.
It's not the case. So, like, no aggro. I did have a few arguments with people, but nothing that a normal barman wouldn't have.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's a hard job.
You a good barman?
No,
No.
terrible. I'm so lucky. Any job I've ever had, I've always been carried.
Right.
There's
right.
always, like, it's race. I'll get
Right.
like. Do you mean I worked in this bar for over a year and I still couldn't make cocktails by the end of it?
What was your Guinness like?
Like,
Brutal?
average. Like,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
Average. We'll get it done.
Yeah.
But, like,
That's not what you
you
want to
know,
hear.
put it this way: if like the owners come in, I'd be the one. I need to go check someone at the back.
Right, right,
Like,
right.
don't ask me to make you something.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. What was your
but-
second? What was the one cocktail you were good at?
Red Diesel.
What's that?
That's a joke. It's blackcurrant vodka and water.
Blackcurrant vodka and water.
That's a Ballymena cocktail.
Oh no.
Red Diesel.
They're not drinking those in Sex in the City.
Oh no! But that
It's
is
bucking in the town.
yeah, that's a Ballymena cocktail. I mean, I blast a daiquiri out, but it's easy. It's foolproof.
Right,
I
right.
couldn't even tell you how to do it now, though.
Right. So go. I love cocktails. I love daiquiris.
Daiquiris are the one.
So, how do you then make the step from Ballymena to Cage Warriors?
So Bama folded, like so Bama liquidated it into Bellator.
Okay.
So they kind of Bellator big dogs must have come in and just been like, scrap that, come work for us. They done it. That left me in like no man's land. Didn't want to go to Bellator because it affects the UFC signing potentially because they're rivals.
Right.
So kind of just went in limbo for a while. Like talked to a few promotions, seen what was happening, and then
What age are you at this point? Early 20s?
early 20s. And then Cage Warriors just reached out, just saying we'd love to have you. Like very public too. They done it like on Twitter. And I was
Right.
like, sound like their approach. Messaged them, signed for them, had a fight by a few months later, and signed a contract with them. Had 3 fights, and then I got the UFC and then back. Whole love story.
When you got the call or the email, whatever it was, to fight UFC, what age were you then? You were about 23?
Well, 26. Yeah, 23, 24. 24 when I made my debut. And
Was that the most surreal thing?
yeah, like it was surreal, like because just started a fight camp originally for the belt, and then so it was the first Saturday of a fight prep or a fight camp, like a fight camp. I hate that word, but it's just a period of time. So I was training in Belfast, driving home, getting a barbecue or something. The weather was class, and like. I stopped in the shop to get things, and Graham was like texting me being like, "Oh, need to have a call." I'm like, "Fair enough." I found it a bit strange. It was
Was
like
this like a manager?
manager, yeah, but it was like a FaceTime, and I was driving. And I was like, "Oh man, I'm just trying to get my sausages here and go home and have a barbecue." But long story short, pulled up in the drive in the house, and he's like, just talking and all about the title fight. He was doing the promo because they didn't have enough staff. Which in hindsight, I'm like, how did I fall for it?
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's just like, "Oh, like, you know, you'll not have to win the belt or something in a few weeks." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, you're going to Abu Dhabi next Saturday." So yeah, it was surreal, and like I did like.
As in, like, you have a fight next Saturday,
Yeah,
or you're
yeah.
starting to train another training
You have
camp?
a fight next Saturday in Abu Dhabi, so
So there's no like build up. There's no UFC. We're watching you, and then
way,
it's
no.
like you're fighting
like,
next week.
Well, I think once I got to that stage, like at that stage, I was 10-2-1, like 13 pro fights, like 10-2, like a difference of 8. You know, like you're pretty like high level in terms of fights, so they're always watching.
Yeah.
And then I signed with Graham to be my manager a few months before, knowing that it was getting to that time. So I knew it was possible. but I wasn't training enough. I wasn't doing anywhere near what I probably should have been doing. But I did tell him, I was like, if anything comes up, like, don't like ask me, just accept it and then
Now,
ring
did
me.
you did that call influence then what you had at the barbecue? Did your order change a wee bit?
The barbecue got scrapped.
Yeah.
So sad. Yeah, the barbecue got scrapped. It was like, I went back to the shop, got chicken fillets and vegetables, and just, you know what? I don't even think I ate it. I was that nervous and excited and scared and buzzing,
Right.
and but cried like a baby.
Of course.
Like, cried like a
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
Didn't expect it. Like, not an emotional guy at all.
Right.
But just such a big deal. I remember, like, I'd love to actually probably know my neighbour's opinion. I must have sat out in like the grass outside our house. It just sat there like dude, up against the fence. Like, why they didn't check I was having a heart attack or something, I don't know. I was like flush red too. But that was what happened at that moment.
And then, yeah, I mean, I don't enjoy a big build up to a gig.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like just to be told we're doing this next week, and I go, brilliant.
Yeah.
But that's not a lot of time to travel to a different continent.
Like, and that was COVID. COVID was peaking then, so like,
Right.
like loads of tests. Like, had to get tested. Had to get a visa.
Yeah.
Which, like, stuff like that.
You travel over by yourself?
Corner team, it was me, Rodney, a fella Stuart as well. Yeah, that was it. So 3 of us went over.
Were you expected to win the fight?
In hindsight, no. Like, it was to fight Kamzat Chimaev, who's now number 3 in the world. Like, so he fought the week before, and I remember Graham saying on the phone, "Oh, you're fighting Kamzat." I had no idea who the guy was. I don't
Right.
watch UFC. Like, I don't watch
Right.
fights.
Yeah.
So, like, of course, at me in the interview, I'm like, don't care who he is, I'll fight anyone.
Yeah.
Which then turned into viral after the fight because it's like, he smashed your face in. But like, it wasn't out of a place of being ignorant. I genuinely didn't know who he was.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, I was there for him to win. Like,
What was the difference in, like, the backstage, the production, all that, in what you'd had before, and then when you went UFC, was everything up a notch?
like, once you get to the fight, it's all the same.
Right.
Brighter lights and, you know, fancier graphics on the TV and,
Yeah.
you know, stuff like that. But like, the only real difference is how they treat their athletes in terms of like what they can provide for them. Like, they're handing you clothes, like, wear this at this time, and, you know, wear this t-shirt at this time because it's advertising and sponsorships for them.
Yeah, yep.
You know, they're feeding you in fight week. You don't have to go to Tesco Express and
Yeah.
look for a fruit salad. You know what I mean? It's none of that. They're like, here, eat this at this time. So everything's very.
Will Dana White do you up a bap, like?
That's it. Not at all. Like, well, not him anyway, but he'll order it anyway. Like, anything you need is done. You
Right.
know, which is the main difference. But on the grand scheme of things, it's very similar.
Yeah.
Bar the luxuries of
Yeah.
like just being looked after.
So how nervous are you the first time you step foot in the octagon?
Like, I wasn't nervous.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't. Like, it was just so exciting, and I think maybe that's the only issue I had. Maybe like, it was just so, like, I was just so happy to be there. Like,
Right.
but not happy to be there at the point where I was going to let him beat me up. Like, not like that. Like,
Yeah.
I was just really happy. But like, I did think about the fight and stuff. But I wasn't nervous. It was just a big moment, a big night.
And then when you lost, did you think, oh, that's it? Like, that's
Yeah.
the chance gone? Or
Well,
did you know
I knew it was my in. I knew it was my, like, you know, I knew it. So you can't turn down an opportunity like that in case it doesn't come around again.
Yeah.
So I knew, like, I even knew before the fight, worst case scenario, I've got my contract. You know, then I'll get a few more fights. I'll clean it up, and then I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I was fine. Like, spirit wise, it was good. And we were in Abu Dhabi, where a week ago I didn't expect to be. Like,
Yeah.
it was a good time. It wasn't like I wasn't heartbroken or anything like that. It was sad I lost the fight. But yeah, that was it. I was happy still.
I've been to Abu Dhabi.
What do you think?
Great spot. Loved it.
We were in Yas Island.
Did you go to the big mosque? I don't know if you had
We weren't allowed out of the.
Oh, because it was COVID.
Yeah, we had like a 1.5 mile radius.
Oh.
That was it. Couldn't leave.
I went. That's right. There, like Fight
Yeah,
Island, they called
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Ah, okay. We did, like, we were in Dubai, and then we did a wee sightseeing day down in
yeah.
Abu Dhabi,
Yeah.
and we went to the big mosque, and it is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. Plus, I went in shorts,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I got there, I thought it was only like the women that weren't allowed to, like, show
Men too.
legs in for the mosque. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I got there, and the guy, they waved everybody we were with through, and then they stopped me, and I thought, you know, the guys
They
wanted an
didn't like
autograph.
they didn't like your quarter lengths.
They didn't like. Oh, it was hot pants. The wee denim ones. The guy said, I've told this on a podcast before, but the guy was like, you need to cover up. I said, I don't have anything else with me. He said, we have these, and they were like white pajamas that they let anybody wear. So it was like lost property in school.
Yeah.
They're probably stinking. He goes, you're gonna have these, or we can go to the gift shop for you.
Oh.
And he's equivalent to like 20 quid. He goes, we can get you authentic chic robes. I said, take this money and get me the most extravagant robes. So we have these photos, me and my wife in Dubai, and she's wearing just like her normal clothes.
Yeah.
And I'm head to toe in these like elegant, like authentic robes, but I'm wearing Nike Air Max. And a wee pair of fake Ray-Bans on.
Oh,
I said there, I was like, when we get home, I might still be wearing these.
Did
Like,
you keep the robe?
I've kept the robes.
Like, what do you do with it now?
Just around the house.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Sometimes the postman, like, guy leaving an Amazon package, I'll just grab him.
I suppose as the gigs get bigger, you're gonna have to maybe start consider
stage.
wearing it a few days a week. You know, maybe 3 out of 7 days a week.
Yeah, but no, Abu Dhabi was an interesting place to see.
Yeah, I'd
So-
love to go back for a holiday.
So what happened then? Getting a second fight?
So just back home again, normal, like just training again. I knew we'd get a fight again soon. I fought in July. The next one was in October. So I remember I was driving up to Belfast training. It was actually my birthday. He texted me saying October 2nd. So how you get a fight text isn't how you think you would. It's not a discussion. It's they know when you're available. So the text was like October 2nd, Vegas, Alex Morano, thumbs up. And I was like, cool.
That sounds like a DJ. I'd be in for that trip. Going to see Alex Moreno. And
Alex Morano. So like that was really it. And you know, I looked up his record as I was driving to Belfast, and I was like, cool, happy days. And then unfortunately lost that fight again. A good fight though. Like that guy had over 11, 12 fights in the UFC. Like,
right, so
it wasn't, you know, it wasn't as if I fought an entry level fighter either. So done that, happy enough. Thought I'd get one more.
Yeah.
In my head, I kind of maybe had a feeling. I was like, flip, I've never lost two in a row in my life.
Yeah.
And then Graham texted me one day close to Christmas, being like, bad news is the next one's not going to be in the UFC. Good news is, and then like, you know, one of them things that I'm going to tell you bad news and good news, but the good
Yeah.
news isn't good news. The bad
Yeah.
news is the bad news. So yeah, that was it. It was like, it was very much like,
Yeah.
and I remember I had someone in the gym doing work. He was fixing something, and I remember he was talking to him, and I just couldn't even talk to him. Like, it was just like, you know, that
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
where like the mic's away from your head, but like you can see the mouth moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just like that. I was flat for a few days. That definitely.
Yeah. And that can be dangerous, kind of like then going into the next fight when it's not at that level you want it to be, and you maybe, you know, you're angry or you're, you know, you
Well, I
don't-
remember saying at the time in Vegas as we left, I was like, if that's me like removed from the UFC, like I was like, I'm not going back to Cage Warriors to like, you know, maybe a sense of pride and ego at the time. Like I was like, I'm not going back there to do the same, like to do what I've already done, and you know.
Yeah.
But then
have
like
to prove yourself again.
yeah,
Then
like
you don't want to do
you
it.
know, and but then you realise too when I was 25, like time hugely on my side.
Yeah.
What else am I going to do?
Yeah.
Not like what else is in. I do have other options, but like, it's what I love. It's my passion. I would do it for free anyway. It's not about the money.
Yeah.
So I put my big boy socks on and said I'm going to do it again. And
Yeah.
yeah, took a wee bit of time off. Got better, developed, and then came back.
Was this your first fight back in Cage Warriors?
Second, yeah,
Right.
second. So I fought a fella from Finland. Almost a full year after the last UFC fight. So I had a year of just training and like relaxing, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, and played dividends. I played, you know, it helped me a lot, and then went in, beat him, and then took another 6 months and fought for the title next. So
is it one of those ones where like you like the UFC,
yeah,
but you don't want to come on too strong? You've got to like kind of play it cool, but then you need to also let them know, hey,
you know what,
I
like
fancy you a bit.
they know I fancy them. They like, do you know what I mean? They know it, like we've matched a few times in Tinder,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Like, no, they know I'm keen.
Yeah.
You know, and they're keen too. I just needed to go develop, win a few fights, show them improved,
Yeah.
and I've done it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so like I'm not scared to let them know that I'm ready to come back.
Yeah.
It's just, let's see what happens. Let's see if they need a welterweight. at this time. My issue with Cage Warriors right now, and I've talked to people about this, is the fights that I can take next to defend this belt are much more riskier than the reward of winning them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool. Like, it'd be cool to beat someone else and defend it and be still the champion. But, like, the people that will be fighting for it probably don't even deserve the chance to fight for it just yet.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep, get you.
So, you know what? Let's see. I'm not like, there was times in my career I was very impatient for stuff. This isn't one of them times. Like,
Right.
I am genuinely okay if they want to defend it again.
Yeah.
I just don't see the point.
Yeah.
But I'll take it a massive, massive deal. And
Can
I'll
you
do it.
see UFC happening for you again in the next year or so?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, if I'm being honest, and like, maybe this will go viral if it goes well and go bad if it doesn't. But
Yeah.
I think I've done enough. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could imagine that my next fight could be for the UFC.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And would you approach that any differently, or do you think it was just that you did need to go away and train up a bit more? And
like, skill wise, no. Like, skill wise, I've improved massively in 2 years, of course. But mentally, I'm like, I'm just a bit more mature now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I've never been immature, but like I wouldn't be I wasn't a deer in the headlights, but I must have looked. I would look at it different now.
yeah,
I've had the experience. I've been there. I've brushed shoulders with all the cool people.
Yeah.
Even though it didn't affect me at the time, I just think
yeah.
I'd be a bit more conditioned to it this time.
Can I give you a move?
Go for it.
And this is like, if you're in the octagon, you're in this situation, remember this.
I will.
Guy's coming towards you.
Yeah.
Alright, he's slightly unorthodox.
Mm-hmm.
He goes like this, one of these,
Yeah.
right towards your eyes.
Yeah.
The fin.
The fin.
He's not getting through.
Potentially could break his hand too.
You could break his hand, but you stay like that. You let him, and then he's got, and then it's a body
I
shot.
love it. The
Yeah,
fin.
now I'd be more explosive than that. I'm just messing about in the
Yeah.
podcast studio, but
Cool.
you could fold them up. Are you and Paul Hughes are good mates? We have Paul on
Yeah.
here. I love Paul.
Yeah,
He's
Paul's
class.
funny. I watched that podcast. You know what? Like, this is one of them. This is one of them ones that people keep saying, "Oh, when are you going to Shane Todd?"
Yeah.
Flip me, I didn't know. Ask him, and then I think people started asking you this.
Yeah.
It's out of my control now. So I watched a lot of them, and I think like when I watched the Paul one, Paul's a good guy.
I honestly think you and Paul could do a podcast,
Yeah, it'd be cool.
like
Yeah,
a fight. Like talking fighting and all that kind of stuff.
It'd be cool. Funny enough, like I would do. Like I've major plans to start one. Like I do have major plans. Paul, he couldn't track down. Like,
Right.
how the flip would you organise once a month? Even
I
with Paul?
texted him to come on like last month. He's like, I can't, and I don't know if I can say like where he was or what he's doing, 'cause maybe it's a private
I
training
think
thing.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I thought he was joking, but he was
Yeah, I know. Like, he told me to his face or where he was going, and like I was like, of course you are.
Is he elusive? Is he like, is he like he's just in the shadows? He's just out doing different things.
Like, yeah, like he reminds me of the type of guy. If like he was your roommate, you would like walk in at 3:30 in the morning, and he's doing like yoga. Like, do you know what I mean? He's
Right.
that type of guy.
Yeah, I
like
get you.
just no like just thrives in chaos.
Yeah.
But like, you know what? The best guy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He sent me a video after the fight of him in Thailand because he's out there training. Of him screaming, not like like mad screaming.
Yeah.
To the point where I was like, Paul, like that's not right.
Yeah.
But,
Even
like,
you weren't that fired up for the
yeah,
fight.
I know,
Yeah.
but it's like 5 a.m. there, and he's like screaming like, "Let's go!"
Yeah.
And like someone that authentically happy for someone,
Yeah.
like is a good person.
Yeah.
And like in this country and culture, like you know yourself, you know better than most. It's like we are not the type of country that unfortunately is happy for everyone all the time.
Well, I think we find it hard to be outward about like excitement
Yeah.
and wanting people to do it. I think most people do have good feelings like that, but it's hard to like physically for people to say like, "Here, good luck with that," or "Well done."
Yeah.
Or like, "Fucking, you're a dickhead."
Like,
Like,
yeah.
just keep it down, you know.
Like, it hurts people. Like, someone said something really good to me the other day. They were like, they said like a really backhanded compliment. I was like, well done. And then I was like, but it's still not your fucking. And I was like, thanks. Like,
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like everyone here thinks they're great at fighting, and all that kind of thing. Man, I would have done this here. See, if it was me, I'd have done this. Like that kind of thing.
Even like in the run up to the fight, like so many guys that have never fought will tell you like not like the Finn. Obviously, you're an experienced martial artist. That's
Yeah,
different. Like, but people that have nothing, like, no offense, like no fighting
yeah,
experience, like,
that won't
well,
offend me because I do.
yeah, of course,
Yeah.
it's redundant for you. But like, people are telling you what to do, and it's like, what planet are you on?
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like it just doesn't work. Like, do you
It's
mean
like with
how?
stand up, people go, you should do more stuff about, like, you know, you should do more one liners, do a wee bit of Peter Kay.
Yeah,
What do you mean do a bit of Peter Kay?
like how?
Do
Like,
all his stuff and
what
all.
does that sound like? You know, I have like my opinion of what I find your material is funny. Like, I'm not going to tell you like
Yeah.
to the point where you should do it. Like, do you mean
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love when you talk about the life coach and
Okay,
the
yeah.
gurus and,
Yeah, yeah.
like that's my jam. Like, I'm going to watch that 20 times, but
Right.
I'm not going to be like you should do that in your gig. It's
Yeah,
not my
yeah, yeah.
it's not my area. You know.
Yes,
It's,
yeah.
But it is very funny.
What, are you just back home now for a while?
Yeah, well, yeah, like just back home.
You want to come to the show? You want to come
Yeah.
see a show?
100%, yeah.
You don't have to.
Oh, 100.
You don't have
What would it, mine? I just went no.
Yeah. Nah, man, all good.
No, I love.
Are you busy? No,
Funny,
no.
funny enough, Mark, a wee bit of fellow Mark from the gym, a corner man as well. He was there last night,
Oh, yeah.
and he told me he told me he was going tonight. I said I was here today, and he was like, "Don't you be mentioning I'm there and all." 'Cause I'm like, "Well, I don't think he's just going to go."
Big spotlight on him.
Mark Andrew, where are you? But
The
so
roast of Mark.
Yeah, he
I
was.
just abandoned the show.
He was there last night, so he
Okay.
had a great time.
Last night was one of the best, funnest times I've ever had on
Class,
stage.
really?
Ever. It was
What
fun.
determines that?
How, like, conscious I am of the whole experience. How, like, I'm about to say a very wanky sentence. How present I am in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes I'll be doing it and I do have that voice being like, what are you going to do after this? You're going to do that bit, or you're going to do that bit? And I'm talking, but you obviously can't hear
Yeah.
this voice. But when it goes really well, there's nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just, like, on it.
Do you ever mind blank?
Yeah.
Like frequently?
One in every 5 gigs there'll be a quick thing. I'm good at snapping myself out of it, and I'm good at waffling.
Yeah.
But if you come and see me regularly, like if you're part of the tech for the show, or Tony in the background who works in the pocket, like you'll be able to tell
Yeah.
I'm saying nothing.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll take a but the trick is take a drink of water,
Yeah.
and in that time my brain's being like, the fuck are you talking about, you
You
dick?
so much material in your head though. Like at one time, it's just
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can just
It's
sometimes
it's
I'll
impressive
get
too.
I'll forget to do a bit, and I'll have to see if I can work out a way to bring it in later on.
Yeah.
But
that makes
usually there
sense.
can be a link, or you can do
Class.
something.
That'd be so hard. Like yeah, but yeah, you have to be good at filling them spaces, I suppose.
Do you get, final question, do you get any weird DMs? Do you get any weird
You know what?
interaction?
Not really. I mean, you have a lot, but I get this one a lot. It's like, oh, like about like your fight gloves and stuff. People like really expect you to give everything away.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, can I get your walkout t-shirt? And it's like, yeah, here's the PayPal link and order them.
Yeah.
Because the the company that
They
makes
want
them,
yours. They
yeah,
want the one you
yeah. So
want.
I'm like, oh, order from Pitbull. Not like it's literally nothing to do with me. I don't get commission off them or. Like,
He's in charge. He's running it.
to the guys from Pitbull, they make them and.
Oh, I thought you meant Pitbull. Because that would be unreal.
Here, if we can get that, like that going, we can have Pitbull making them. Where's he at?
Nah,
America?
he's just taking the orders online.
Imagine. So like then people will be like, no, like your t-shirt, and I'm like, no, like nobody's getting that
Yeah,
t-shirt.
I
like,
might keep it.
yeah, but people want your gloves. You know, people you walk out past a fight. I know it's not a DM, and people be like, oh, can I have your gloves? And it's like, can you fuck like?
But you probably as well, like,
I do give a lot away though.
it
So
costs money too.
yeah, I'm totally contradicting myself. Like Cage Warriors do, like they give us gloves, and most of the time I will. But yeah, here.
Yeah.
But like, I'm grateful for sponsors and stuff. They deserve that stuff too. Like,
Yeah. Can I have your watch?
here, you know what? I bought this a few weeks ago, and this is like a serious investment for like a life
like it?
coach, a business guru.
What are you doing on it?
Pretty much everything.
Yeah?
But put it this way, people know I'm here. GPS.
I don't like smartwatches.
Yeah, and you know what? I would say this isn't that smart of a watch, although it can do everything.
It's like double award science watch.
Yeah, like this is one your annoying uncle had.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Like I can show you how fast my heart's beating, you know,
Yeah.
or how many steps all that carry on, but you can also like GPS where we are. Yeah,
Right.
if I go like I'm unkidnappable
Right.
because people
Well,
are,
that clip will go viral when you get kidnapped.
like, but if I
Next
have
time you're in Abu Dhabi and I have to show up in the robes to talk them out of it.
you can't wear the garment after you steal me. But no, great watch, love it.
Nice. what have you got? Like, have you got anything coming? Or you don't know where your next fight's going to be, but in the meantime, like, you're on all social media, just Rhys McKee. Rhys McKee, your name?
Rhys McKee, yeah, it's easier that than having some stage name.
Yeah, I'm going to need to walk through Hollywood with this over my shoulder, if that's all right.
100%.
Cheers. Rhys, thanks very much for coming on. I appreciate it. I think I'm pretty sure you're going to go where you want to go. I'm confident.
Yeah.
And remember what's going to win it for you?
The fin.
The fin.
It'll break hands all over the world.
Breaking hands and breaking hearts. Rhys, thanks very much for coming on the podcast.
Man.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, bud.